that Nepali art was both a sound investment and a useful tool for self-improvement. I entertained the thought of going home with as many statues as I could possibly carry. So while combing through Kathmandu's seemingly endless array of galleries, shops, and street stalls in search of the perfect Buddha, I took ample time to acquaint myself with some of the other popular gods and goddesses who fill out the ranks of what I, irreversibly conditioned by years of Hebrew school, must very respectfully refer to as the lower arcana. Because as much as I love them, and as irresistible as I was drawn to worship them, these other characters, they're not just mere gurus or teachers, they're fully fledged gods. They're idols, they're graven images. And the closer I got to them, the closer I skirted around the steep and guilty edges of what I call the golden calf syndrome, the common affliction among Jews in Asia. But after all was said and done, nothing in the world could keep me from admiring, appraising, and yes, embracing these imaginative, voluptuous deities. And hey, why not? I mean, what business is it of mine if God decides to take 1, 10, or 30 million forms? Who am I to reject these divine manifestations of the eternal anyway? Nobody, nothing, a mote. Better by far, I reasoned, to follow the old when in Rome wisdom and throw myself whole hog into the arms of that luscious, though decidedly non-kosher pantheon. Tara, the goddess of compassion, is a lovely sight. Her full, perfectly molded breasts, garlanded with flowers, her hips subtly bent, her delicate right foot resting on a blossoming lotus. And yet, sighing with decidedly non-religious longing, I couldn't help but wonder if I could be accused of ulterior motives for buying a statue that looked as if it belonged on the beach at Saint-Tropez. But how about Ganesh? Ganesh is irresistible with his big fat belly and Babar the elephant's head. Ganesh is the god of auspicious beginnings and one of the most popular gods in Asia. All I could think of the first time I saw him was the flying Dumbo ride at Disneyland, a passage that remains my earliest memory from childhood. Ah, Ganesh, remover of obstacles, protector of children and thieves, patron of the poets. Ages ago, when the great sage Vyasa was suddenly struck by the inspiration to dictate the monumental epic Mahabharata in one sitting, Ganesh volunteered to serve as scribe. Halfway through Vyasa's feverish and unflagging dictation, the pen burst into flames and disintegrated. Ganesh, fearful of missing even a single syllable, snapped off his own tusk to use as a quill. Peerless devotion to the art. What better ally, I ask you, for a writer whose pen is perpetually out of steam? What more loyal mascot than this holy Dumbo reincarnation? Or how about the Bodhisattva Manjushri? Manjushri, the embodiment of wisdom, whose pure and peerless incisiveness is symbolized by a flaming sword held high. What can compete with so potent a metaphor? I must admit that at first, before I thought I was really good enough to own my own Buddha, it seemed that Manjushri alone might be enough to satisfy my gnawing appetite for an all-purpose icon. But no, I wanted it all. I mean, if I was prepared to spend a couple of $100 for one of these gods, I wanted as much for my money as possible. Wisdom, compassion, protection, peace of mind. And for sheer devotional value, ounce for ounce, nothing beats a Buddha. So, those of you, I know there's many people here who are practitioners and well-versed in Buddhism, and before I get to the controversial part of the show, I want to talk a little bit about the poses of Buddha. These are called mudras, are the hand positions of the Buddha, and asanas are the ways that the Buddha sits. And there are many well-known asanas and mudras of the Buddha. They have different names. Dharmi Chakra Pravartana Mudra is a very common mudra for the Buddha. He's shown turning with his hands in teaching position, turning the wheel of the law, which is his